Most gardeners spend the growing season planting bulbs in containers and in the ground so that we can have awesome foliage and blooms. Another way to extend that is through forcing bulbs over the darker, more dormant season during the winter months. So in October, November or so, we begin to receive bulbs, fabulous bulbs that have been grown over the summer in Holland. And it gives us an opportunity to actually brighten up a sunny spot in our own homes. So this practice has been going for generations and is another way that each of us can actually extend that growing season. I use this opportunity to give gifts to family, friends, and neighbors and hand them these containers with the caveat, enjoy, bring it all back to me, and you'll get a new batch next year. So I start with a clean container, and you'll see that I actually began a couple of containers several weeks ago. These have been sudsed and sanitized in the dishwasher, making sure that there's no gook or schmutz or fungus or bacteria left over from any other use. So these particular containers that I started a few weeks ago, I went sailing through our local garden center and grabbed a bag of bulbs and just popped them in to get them started. These particular bulbs, I went back a few days ago and picked up these because they were each very plump, firm, and full of nutrients. So typically when we are placing bulbs into the ground or in a container, they're going into a soil medium, as in garden soil, your native ground, or bedding soil, or potting soil that has a ton of nutrients in it. And those combined with the sunlight and water and good aerated soil, of course, that prompts the bulb itself to begin to grow the roots and stabilize the bulb with the roots, and then to send those shoots up toward the sunlight. In this forcing, we're taking out some of those elements. So this is a little bit different in that when the bulb is finished with its forcing, it has used all of its energy and may never bloom again. That breaks my heart. So when these are finished, I will clean up everything and then either hold on to the bulb and let it dry out a little bit and then place it in the ground when the ground temperature is warmed up a bit, or based upon what it's doing outside, these may go straight into the ground when they're finished. But wanted you to see how pretty these particular in-bulb Narcissus bulbs are. Already sprouting, already good roots, ready to go into their planting medium, which is at this point simply water. So all of this very clean, very sanitary container. I've selected some colorful stones, a variety of stabilizers. Pretty awesome what you can do in using for stabilizing, and when you use the clear glass containers, it gives you yet another way to brighten up a spot in your own home or in your friends and neighbors. I place the stones, the stabilizers, into these nylon bags so that they can actually do a scrubbing in the sudsing and then run through the dishwasher and air dry beautifully, and then they're all collected to go back into the same container for my friends and family next year. So it keeps them all organized and very visible so that you can choose what flavor you might want for your container. Utilizing these throughout the year for other floral design. I've started out with everything fresh, everything clean, new bulbs, straight from Holland. They've had a wonderful life over there, and now they've come to be forced into flowering, great foliage, and fragrance for us. Put an inch or two of your stabilizers in the base, and then we're going to nestle these wonderful fat bulbs in the bottom of the container, I try to turn the sprout, that little budlet that's already poking out, so that it is turned more toward the outside, the outer rim of your container. That helps really balance the design that you are designing. Actually, it helps balance the design and avoid the foliage crossing over. So getting these guys tucked down in here and nestled so kind of firmly, they don't need to be down in there too much, leaving a little bit of space for that aeration. Remember, that's important between the actual bulbs. That's helpful because they're going to be sitting in water, not totally in water. We'll do that in a few minutes. Now let's stabilize a bit, and where we've placed the bulbs, go ahead and tuck stones around, because as they grow, you can see already these are getting a little bit heavy, and this grouping here of 5 or 7 bulbs is really going to get heavy. This helps keep the bulb from getting floppy and pulled up out of the water. The roots are going to help also because they will lock into your stabilizers, your stones. So I do love getting these back, getting them all cleaned up, ready for that same neighbor to have next year, and tucking those spent bulbs away for them to go outside and do their thing in maybe an augmented way next growing season. So may tuck another right there. That's too much. Very good. So now they're all tucked down in there. Let's add a bit of water just to the very base of the bulbs. And you probably can see where that is, because the base of the bulb is the closest thing you want to the water. That prompts the roots to grow down, seek the water, and go into the bulb itself and force the foliage up and those awesome blooms that we're going to get in a couple of weeks. These are fun to do in January also, when the doldrums post-holidays can hit everyone. Just a great way to enjoy that sunny spot. Remember to place these in a warm area, not a drafty spot, and also in the sun, or indirect sunlight would be fine as long as they are getting some sunlight. And spin them as the sun moves, and as the foliage moves, they are actually going to lean toward that sunlight. So I give mine a spin whenever I see that they're doing a little leaning, and then also make sure that the water level is just touching the bottom of the bulb. If it goes up further than that, then we may have bulb rot, and we don't want bulb rot. We want to keep these as healthy, fresh, and performing for our forcing time. Enjoy these, and enjoy giving them to friends and neighbors.